We are at the conclusion of a female hairline lowering, and what I want to show you with this young lady who's in her 20s, she was born with a recessed, sort of a masculine hairline in this region. We framed it down. This angle is hard to see what we've done, but what I want to show you is what we've done in terms of angles. If you see, she's got a cowlick. In this portion, actually, all the sides go back like this to follow her cowlick, and they slowly turn this way. Along this hairline here, they're going sweeping to the right from the left-hand side, and then as you start seeing it go back this way, it joins to this frontal temporal recession, so it swirls like this and then back, almost like a U shape. This side right here goes forward and straight, then this side here goes straight to here, and then these curve down, and all these curve down, and this curves this way. So this is the most complicated side I want to show you first. It's an area that I think is going to look really, really good for her. All of these grafts here are made in what's called a coronal pattern, which is very, very flat, so that it looks very natural, and they sweep backwards. Finer grafts along the hairline, obviously, and then stronger grafts. She's also got very, very strong grafts here to help minimize see-through in this portion where she's got recession. And the hairline is not very jaggedy. You can see that on a male hairline, it's much more jaggedy, especially in an older gentleman with more hair loss. But a female hairline is relatively straight. There's just little tiny peaks, but not significant amount. And the shape is the exact opposite of male hairline. As you see, this is more of a male hairline going this way. Female hairline is rounded downward. Let's go see the other side. We're on the other side, and you can see these angles go almost one direction this way from the cowlick going down, and then a slight sweep, but not much angulation change. And this is very similar to what a female hairline should look like, which is the cowlick arches across. We'll show the center in a moment, and going across and sweeping downward to have a nice angulation here. This is the center, and the cowlick, it's hard to see because the hair is wet, but it sweeps up and back this way, up and back this way, and that's why you see the angle changes flowing down that way. Almost most of the hair, which is interesting, is where the female hairline starts almost turning at this point here. This is the apex of the turning point, going back and then arching back and going down this way. The reason I want to show you this also is that there's really two ways to do female hairline lowering. You can either do a surgical approach, which actually you make an incision all the way across here and then you bring the hairline forward. I think that's a nice way to do things. I prefer not to do it. Besides just having scar and some prolonged numbness with it, I think the other reason why this technique for female hairline is so nice is that you can really design a hairline that's very similar to a natural female hairline. It's very hard to do to create the cowlick when it doesn't exist over here, and to pull a cowlick down using surgery. So by recreating the grafts, I'm actually able to design the cowlick and rebuild it in a very nice way. If you let me see if I can slide this over. Also, if you think about it, she's got a lot of thinning up here, and if I had done a surgical procedure, I'd either have to take out that hair, which we don't want to do, or we would just leave it to be thin. But what I can do with a non-surgical, in other words, non-incisional technique, is I can actually take the thinned areas and feather my grafts in. So another nice thing that can't really be done with a surgical hairline lowering where there's a cut across the scalp. And I just try to avoid having an incision if I can. I think there's a little bit of risk, not much, but the goal is to say if I can create a pattern that's very feminine in nature and very, very attractive, and specifically geared to how this person's hairline should look like and the patterns that would look feminine, I think that's an ideal for me.